Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grandmaster Andre Glenn. Welcome back to 360 Combat TV. Once again, we're going to discuss an important subject that I always ask questions about, and people always ask me why I have so many of them. Gloves. Why is it so important to protect your hands? It's very important, because you're these, what can you do after that? You'll be one-handed, and from scrapes and scratches and things of this nature, a lot of injuries happen to the hands, cuts and bruises, things of this nature. And emergency situations, more people use their first aid kit than anything else. And a lot of times that has to do with cuts and wounds to the hands. So I'm just gonna look at a few gloves. We're looking at it from a point of everyday use, yard work, construction, or rope rappelling, and firearms shooting. So it's going to look quick little snippet video. I'm just going to show various gloves. If you notice, I have a little some kind of keeper on these gloves. No matter which gloves I pick up, you're going to see, because they're all attached to belts, rigger belts, backpacks. All these gloves are going to be attached to something. Now, I just want to go over a few things with the gloves. Like, these are nice, and I'll put the description of each one of these glove companies in the description at the bottom of the video. But this is a company called Setwear. They make a lot of set gloves for movie sets. People work on movie sets, whether grips, PAs, things of this nature. It's a nice glove, nice protection on the inside of the hand, not too much on the back side of the hand. So these would be, work gloves. Now, could I take the same work gloves and use them for firearms training or firearms shooting? Would that glove be big enough? Or the trigger guard be big enough to get my glove finger in there to pull the trigger? And will I have enough on the finger, a glove penetration on the finger to pull the trigger? Things you need to think about. So this is emergency gloves or go-to gloves you have in your go bag and things of this nature. That's something you need to think about. So I like these gloves. Next gloves are actually a company called, I buy these like packs of 5, 6, 7 gloves at a time. And as you see, these gloves are really wore out. Now these gloves are real soft in the palm. You see these gloves are really wore out. I use these a lot. There's a company called FG. But I use these gloves for when I go shooting and teaching firearms. So that's why these first 2 fingers are pretty much done. It's not too much padding on the back. These gloves remind me of those fighter pilot gloves. You put them on there real soft material, but you can still pull the trigger, because I've wore the trigger fingers out on both of the gloves, and so these are nice gloves. But these are you can use these for safety, working in the yard, things of this nature. But also, if you're gonna, as far as your self-defense and personal protection and stuff like that, yeah, can I take these gloves and shoot my weapon with it? That's something you need to think about. Okay. Another rubberized coating glove. You can pick these up, different spots. Not so much protection on the back. Could I pull the trigger with these gloves on? I think so. Yeah, I think it wouldn't get in the way. There's not too much leather like some of the other ones have. A lot of leather around here, where I really have to overcompensate. But more importantly, will that glove finger fit inside your trigger guard to pull the trigger? Think about that also. So that's another pair of gloves. Universal glove, work glove, things of that nature. Hatch. These gloves are nice. I'm gonna put it on, actually. Now, these are nice protective gloves. Really hard working gloves, repelling gloves. Okay, for repelling. See the cowhide material inside for the friction of holding ropes and things of this nature. I can actually fight in these gloves. Nice protection around my hands also to fight with it. Could I pull the trigger? You see, I don't have as much bend because this is hard. This is really nice premium leather, but it makes it really hard to pull that trigger. So would I consider shooting a gun in these gloves? 9 times out of 10, no. Because the trigger guard will have to be pretty substantial, unless I'm shooting an H&K .45 where it has a large trigger guard in it. Maybe so. If you see, I also have another pair of gloves attached to these. Same thing. I shoot in these gloves, and it's another thin pair from Setworks. And same thing, fingers, because I've been doing a lot of shooting. Both of the gloves. I'm ambidextrous. I teach everybody how to shoot with either left hand or right hand. Those make a difference. You should be able to do either or. But these gloves are real nice and soft on the inside. Not a lot of protection on the back. But for shooting, they're great. So when you're picking your gloves for shooting, self-defense, things of this nature, consider that when you pick it. Just like anything else, you got to consider the source. It's another pair of gloves, Under Armour gloves. I like these gloves also. Now, put it on. Got a lot of cushion on the back. Okay. Nice premium leather. Synthetic on the front top of the fingers. Could I pull the trigger with these gloves on? Yeah. Okay. Does it give me additional bulk on my finger? No. So things of this that you want to think about. Also, I had these gloves start to come apart on this strap piece. So I put a little crazy glue on it. But other than that, I mean, gloves are pretty much, you know, nice and durable. Oh, another pair of Setwear gloves. Different variation. Nice cushion. No protection on the back. Nice, smooth, thin. Can I pull the trigger? Yeah. In an emergency situation, I probably could. It still adds a little bit more, too much bulk on my finger if I was going to use this for shooting. So just things to think about when you're choosing gloves for survival gloves, the gloves you're going to shoot with, the gloves you're going to travel with, things to think about. These are another utility gloves from a company called Firm Grip. Firm Grip, real little thin padding, cotton padding, nothing extravagant. They got a reinforced tip on the finger and none on these fingers. But I'd rather not use that. But can I pull the trigger? Yes, I can pull the trigger with these gloves. Yeah. So, would these be great shooting gloves? Yeah. Would these be gloves to go hands-on with somebody? Yeah. Would I have a lot of protection on the back of my hands? No, but in choosing gloves, like anything else, you got to sit down and figure out what works for you. How are you going to be carrying these? Are they going to be attached to something? Your backpack, your tube belt, your regular belt? You know, how are you going to carry it? Where they're going to be at in an emergency situation? Where are you going to store them at? I like having my gear attached to my gear, so most of the time I have a backpack on. So you see whether it's a backpack or whether it's a fanny pack, you always see gloves attached to it because I'm always doing something with my hands, and you never want to pretty much hurt your hands. So just as a preview of just a bunch of gloves. But just like anything else, you got to take your time and figure out what works for you. Because what might work for somebody else might not work for you. Just because the new hot, greatest, and latest thing come out, everybody always jump on the bandwagon. Don't be one of those people. Figure out why they work for you. As you're hands-on, I can go hands-on and fight with those gloves on. Can I shoot with those gloves on? Can I pull out my blade and open my blade with those gloves on? These are some of the things I want you to think about, okay? Because I got to protect these. If I can't protect these, how am I protect my rest of my body? Okay, so if these get injured, hurt, cut, things of this nature, things to think about. Now I've seen some very strong gloves, but a lot of times when it came to going to the weapon or opening my blade with those gloves on, I found a hard time. And you don't want a hard time when it comes to your life's on the line in combat. So pick a nice glove that can give you a little bit of everything. You can still pull the trigger. You still get to open your blade up. You can still do defensive tactics and things of nature. You can still punch with them. That's what that's about. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment. But it's just a brief run-of-the-mill why it's important to protect these hands, and these hands protect you. So they got to get past these to get to you. So if these are injured, what happens to the rest of your body? So things I want you to think about. We create thinkers before fighters. Thinkers before fighters. This is all about your self-defense and self-preservation because you are your own protector. Nobody's coming to save you, only yourself. Peace, love, and happiness. Once again, Grandmaster Andre Glenn, thank you for coming out.